negotiation, quite often we start with an objective and a subject. These ones define the negotiation scope. For example, when purchasing apples, the buyer's objective is buying apples, and the subject is apples. But let's suppose that in the day the buyer goes to the street market, there are no apples for sale. He can redefine his objective to buying bananas, and the subject widens from apples to fruits. The negotiation scope changes. It is normal in negotiations to have slight scope changes. It's quite simple to change the initial objective of buying apples to buying bananas in the street market. As the seller sells both of them, the prices are similar, both are fruits. But it would be much more complicated if the buyer changed the negotiation objective, in this case from buying apples to buying a car. The street market salesman is not prepared for it. The same happens in a negotiation that is complex. Small scope adaptations are usually acceptable, but not drastic ones. Nor they should be accepted, considering that complex negotiations are always planned ahead, and negotiators would not be prepared for a large scope change, nor they would be authorized to negotiate a scope much different from the one initially agreed. But sometimes a negotiator, in bad faith or not, tries to include items in the agenda that were out of the original negotiation scope. The negotiators must be very attentive to this kind of maneuver, because they may include themes in the discussion that should not be discussed. This type of maneuver can paralyze or even destroy the whole negotiation. The scope control is responsibility of all the negotiators, but mainly of the organizer, facilitator, if he is present. The general rule is items out of the scope shall not appear in the agenda and must not be discussed in the negotiation. Nothing impedes, however, that a future negotiation includes the items that are not within the current scope. Complex negotiations are already difficult per se, without needing additional complications. The document of original negotiation scope helps a lot in keeping the negotiations productive and focused on the initial subject. Whenever there is an attempt of including items external to the initial agenda, the organizers, facilitators, and/or other negotiators shall manifest against it, making reference to the scope document that brings legitimacy to the negotiation original scope. We'll continue in the next video.